Hello students. So in the last class we discussed about the polynomials, about quadratic polynomial. Now what is equation? We will discuss about the quadratic polynomial. This is quadratic polynomial. Now if the polynomial is equal to something, say equal to 0, this is the standard form of quadratic polynomial. Quadratic equation. Up to this it is polynomial, but if it is equal to something, if it is equal to 0, then it is quadratic equation. What is the condition? The condition I have already told that coefficient of x square is the coefficient hoy a to ki hobo nware 0 hobo nware. This cannot be 0. Clear? First ভালকে মানে quadratic equation বুজিবৰ কাৰণে ফাৰ্স্ট কি কৰিব লাগিব আমি ইয়াৰে গ্ৰাফিক্যাল ৰিপ্ৰেজেন্টেশন হেতু চাব লাগিব এতিয়া দুটা কন্ডিশন আছে যে এটা কি হয় ইয়াৰে a2 it may be greater than 0 okay or it may be less than 0 আৰু এটা কন্ডিশন কি হ'ব পাৰে হেতু quadratic নহয় বাট এনেকুৱা হ'ব পাৰে তো কেতিয়াবা যে a is equal to 0 for these three conditions we need to discuss the graphical representation. এই তিনটা কন্ডিশনৰ কাৰণে আমি graphical representation চাব লাগিব. So let's see about the graphical representation. First আমি এটা বস্তু চাও যে how we can solve this quadratic equation. What is the root? Root means what? Solution. Root. A new word, root. Root means the variable present here, the value of the variable. Say x or value কিমান হ'ব হেতুক আমি root বুলি কওঁ. কেনেকৈ সলভ কৰে একদম মানে একদম বেসিক্যালি আমি চাই লম how it can be solved. So first you have to remove the process, you have to remember it, you have to remove the coefficient. How can you remove? You have to divide all the terms by ax square by a, b by a, x plus c by a is equal to 0 by a. Now the equation is a cancel, b by a, x plus c by a is equal to 0. Now we know the formula a plus b whole square. It is a square plus twice ab plus b square. The method is we have to form up to this in the formula a plus b whole square, that is a square plus twice ab plus b square. এইখিনি আমি ইয়াৰ পৰা ফৰ্ম কৰিব লাগিব ঠিক আছে কেনেকৈ ফৰ্ম কৰিম ফাৰ্স্ট ইয়াতে x স্কয়াৰ আছে ওকে a স্কয়াৰ we have to write twice ab. What is a means x. এতিয়া b ৰ ভ্যালুটো এনেকুৱা হ'ব we have to put the value of b here such that এইখিনি মানে cancellation কৰাৰ পিছত after cancellation a ভ্যালুটো পাব লাগিব so we can write here b by 2a. Now see, if 2 and 2 are cancelled, it is b by a into x. And then you have to write what you get, b by twice, it is called as b, it is termed as b. So b by twice a whole square. A square plus twice a plus b square. এতিয়া কথাটো হল এই টার্মটো আগৰ ইকুয়েশনত নাছিলে আগৰ ফৰ্মুলাত. Now we have to subtract this also. We have to subtract this. এতিয়া এটা cancel কৰি কিনে আগত নাই যে এটো নাথাকিব আৰু and then the remaining term is c by a. It is equal to 0. Up to this it is a plus b whole square. So we can write x plus b by twice a whole square. এইখিনি right side নিউ minus ইফালে গলে it will be positive b square by twice a whole square 4a square and then minus c by a. Now we get this term, we get this equation. So if you remove this square, first you can find the LCM here. The LCM will be 4a square 4a square cancel here, b square a cancel, 4a will be remaining, so 4a c x plus b by twice a. If you remove the square here and here it will be square root, and we know that if you find square root of anything, it can be plus minus both. Okay, it may be positive or it may be negative. Now this term you can write in the right hand side, minus b by twice a plus minus. You cannot find the square root of this. B square minus 4ac. What is the square root of this one? Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of a square is 8. Now find the LCM. LCM is twice a. It is minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac. This is the root of quadratic equation which is in the form this. A2 equation, quadratic equation, A2 is root. X is equal minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac by twice a. So by applying this formula, you can find the value of x or say y. What is the variable in the equation? You can find the value of that by using this formula. This is known as quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. You will get another method of finding the root of the quadratic equation by prime factorization method, but this is important. By this method, by observing the values here, you can find the nature of the roots. You can find the graphical representation. Okay. Now we will check the graphical representation of this. Clear? So this is the quadratic formula. Okay, by using this formula, you can find the value of variable present in the quadratic equation. Now the interesting thing is you can find the nature of the graph, nature of the equation, nature of the root by observing only this term. That is b square minus 4ac, which is called as discriminant. Which is known as discriminant, b square minus 4ac. Now we are going to observe the graphical representation. Let's see. Now see, this was the quadratic equation. Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Quadratic equation. Now the two conditions are here. If the coefficient of x square may be greater than 0 or less than 0. Here coefficient to 0 ke damar hobo pare ba horu hobo pare. Okay. Now see the graph. If the discriminant which we get from the quadratic formula b square minus 4ac, if the discriminant is less than 0, in that case, or if a is greater than 0, in that case the graph will be like this. It will not intersect the x-axis. Okay. If it is equal to 0 and a is greater than 0, in that case it will just touch the x-axis. And if it is greater than 0 means positive value. In that case, the graph will intersect the x-axis into distinct points. Clear? Now again the second condition is if b square minus 4ac is less than 0 and also a is less than 0, in that case the graph will be in opposite direction and it will also not touch or intersect the x-axis. In this case it will just touch the x-axis, but it will be reverse of the previous one. In this case also, it will just intersect the x-axis into two different points. Clear? So this is the sixth type of graph which depends on the coefficient of x square. Jitu x square coefficient a tar upor depend koribo, it may be greater than 0 or less than 0, and also depends on the discriminant which we get from the quadratic formula b square minus 4ac jodi 0 ke horu hoy enekwa hobo duita kesot 0 equal hole eniko type hobo aru 0 ke greater hole eniko type hobo. So this is the graphical representation of quadratic equation. You can say it as graphical representation. Also, you can write these 2 points, these points. This is ekdom minimum point. A point ki koy minima boli koy. Minima. This also minima. This is also minima. But this point is called a point to koba maxima. A word kita monot rakhiba. Jetia a greater than 0 hobo, a greater than 0 in that case ekdom minimum point hobo minima aru a less than 0 maximum point hobo maxima. So these are the 6 types of graph based on these values: b square minus 4ac nature and a. Clear? So this is the graphical representation. In the next class we will again discuss about the nature of roots by observing the value of this. So tiyaloke tumalke ekhini bhalke sai loa. Next class ami tar jitu nature, root or nature tar upor discuss korim. Thank you.